Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another video. But a video on what? Well, let's just find out. Bang! Microsoft Surface RT. I finally have one in my possession, and we're going to unbox this bad boy right now in this video. I'm not too keen on doing unboxing videos, but people seem to watch the videos and find something useful out of them, so let's get straight to it. I'll try and be as quick as I can, not to go off topic too much. So what I have here is the 32GB version with a touch cover. This is the box. Nothing too special about the box. It's not one of the type of boxes you're going to get off the shelves, because of course Microsoft have not made it available in any retail shops, certainly in the UK. But it does have this nice little pull-out box type thing, and I do apologise for the camera zoom in a moment. It doesn't seem to be working quite well. Hopefully it's going to get better as we get into it. So this was the box that it came in, and it just slides out into another box. The tablet is in here, and this underneath is your touch type keyboard, the very controversial keyboard that has no tactile feedback on it, completely capacitive, so when you type on it, it's not going to depress or anything. It will just treat it like a touchscreen. Imagine it is a massive touchscreen keyboard on a phone. Let's just show you exactly how thin this thing is, though. That is the thinness of it. Nothing more than an inch or two. Sorry, not an inch. A millimetre or two. No bend on it. It does have a little bit of flex on it, but it's kind of like a bit of hard cardboard in the middle, so it does feel quite sturdy. And then of course we have these magnetic connectors here, which will presumably connect sharply to the tablet, as we have seen in other videos already. Keyboard looks pretty standard, other than there doesn't look to be any function keys as such, more these interactive tablet keys, similar to the Transformer Prime in that respect, but a full QWERTY keyboard, and the enter button is nice and big, which is a good thing. Good shift key size there as well. Looks like a fairly decent sized keyboard, and then there's the touchpad down there. It presumably has a left click and a right click. But of course, if you didn't want to use the keypad, a touch cover keyboard, you could plug in a USB keyboard or Bluetooth it. The one big thing, of course, is that this has no hinges or anything, so the tablet will get absolutely no support from this keyboard. It all comes from a tablet, and you'll see why in just a second. This is one of the reservations I have about this special type of keyboard, the fact that it will offer no support. So will it be able to hold on to a lap, for example? Are you going to be able to hold it correctly? Looks as if there's a bit of documentation here, not too much. Very minimalist approach these days to tablets with instructions, just the warranty there, and that's pretty much the only instruction I can see at this part, presumably because this is just for the keyboard, but there we are. Very expensive keyboard, I might add. This costs me £80, so it's a very expensive edition, but I wanted to get the full experience in order to do a proper review and videos on it. So we'll move on away from the keyboard, which has already taken me 3.5 minutes, so I do apologise if this is probably going to take quite a while to do. And we have just a sticky thing here to take off, which I want to try and do very delicately, because as far as I'm aware, if I'm not happy with this device, I can return it within 14 days to Microsoft. That's what the website told me. I'm not sure how reliable that 14-day return policy is, but I might have to use it, might not. Anyway, let's see what happens when I open up this little hingy thing, and there we are. There is the tablet itself, and straight away it looks quite big, probably because I'm used to the Nexus 7 at this point, which is much smaller. We'll do the boring things first. But here is a massive brick of a plug with the 3-pin UK plug style adapter, and I actually prefer these. I don't know why I keep going on about how good plugs are in the UK, but I seem to enjoy talking about them, and it just slots in there. But we'll move on to that, move off that very quickly, and we'll move straight onto the tablet, which if I pull it off here, this is the tablet. Again, there's a bit of focus issues because I think it's just flashing off the camera a little bit. Weight-wise, very early impressions. Feels to have a nice centre of gravity to it. Perhaps a bit heavy, but again I'm comparing it to the Nexus 7, which is a very light and 7-inch device. First thing I wanted to check, this button here is not actually a physical button. Again, it's a capacitive one, and that is the home button. So no physical buttons at all on the Surface in terms of the front of it. There are obviously power buttons and so on. We'll come back to the tablet then in a little second and see what else there is in the box. A bit more of a dedicated instruction booklet there, and I've just done a little tear, which is wonderful. But that's pretty much it. There's not much to write home about there. Yeah, another small instruction booklet and a very quick warranty card. So very minimalist. I mean, the box is quite big and bulky to say that there's nothing really in it. I mean, all this bit here, it's just wasted space. There's nothing there. The tablet fit in the top part, which is rather interesting. I'm just going to go back to the plug to check that this is a USB style plug, which I've just dropped. Now here's an interesting thing. This is obviously the proprietary charging unit, so no standard USB charging, which is a little bit disappointing because it means that if this breaks I'm going to have to buy a new one, which is probably expensive. And there's no USB cable. Now obviously the Windows RT is supposed to be a kind of tablet hybrid, but there's no way to plug this tablet into my computer if I wanted to do any file transfers. So I'm saying this on the first unboxing, not really sure how that might work, so I may be wrong about that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how file transfers work. Probably won't need to do it, and I very rarely plug in my Nexus 7 to my computer, but there doesn't seem to be any obvious way to plug it in. No USB cables of any kind, even though the tablet itself comes with a USB port. So while everything's falling apart, let me just put this box to one side, and we will then, and I've just dropped the plug over here as well. Let's now take the wrapping off this bad boy in a very delicate way, because one thing I like to do is make sure that everything's in pristine condition, just in case I decide to sell it at a later time or return it. I want to be able to put everything back in its proper holders and things. And if I just be a bit delicate there and pull it out, and that is your tablet on the table. And that's it. This is your Surface. So let's run around the edges very quickly. Got the headphone jack there, volume rockers. That is a little groove so that you can get your fingers in and use a kickstand, which we'll have a look at in a second. And then going across the bottom, we have the metal connector for the keyboard, which I'm going to try in a second as well. Here it looks like that's where we'll connect the plug. And there are reports, or I've heard that it is a kind of magnetic plug similar to the MagSafe ones on Apple, which are excellent, so I'll be trying that in a second. USB port as well, and then on the top it looks as though we just have a volume button there, and there are speakers as well around. So let's try and use the kickstand. How good is a kickstand? So if I put my sort of thumb in there, click it out, came out very easily, and they're stood. Now obviously this is a fixed kickstand, you can't change it in any way, it doesn't flex or anything, it goes into one position and stays there. So in terms of moving it about might be a bit of a problem. Again, it's something I want to investigate, and then we'll click it back, and it does have a very nice sound when it clicks back. Obviously in the adverts they've done a lot of selling of that feature, and that is quite nice. Anything else to suggest? No, let's use the keyboard then. So we'll do a quick test of the keyboard, and I think we'll bring the unboxing session to a close. So I'm just going to put the keyboard down on there, and we're just going to bring the tablet down from above, and we'll see when the magnetic connector picks it up. And it clicks in very snugly and very sharply, and that was quite a nice feeling. To unconnect the keyboard, I think you hold it at one side and pull, and it detaches very easily. So just to demonstrate that one more time. It's very sharp and very clicky, very responsive, and now it does feel quite secure. I've heard that you can hold it by just the keyboard, Am I going to risk doing it? No, I'm not going to risk doing it until I've actually turned on the tablet. But apparently you can hold the tablet by the keyboard and the weight is fine. So there we are. That is my Surface RT. Not turned on yet, but we are going to do a switch on in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this video has been quite long. I didn't want to do a 10-minute unboxing video, but I've done it anyway. So I'll see you in another video very soon when I switch it on for the first time.